we got summer coming up. There's going to be some nice south swells coming, but it's going to be like every summer where there's a lot of small days and you need a board to get into smaller waves. So this summer, I'm calling it soft top summer, and I'm going to be spending a lot of time doing something that I've never really done, which is surf soft tops. I've done it a couple times, but it's been very few and far between. So this summer, that's what it's going to be about, a soft top summer. So today, the beautiful people at South Bay Board Co. invited me by. I'm going to go pick up some boards and do a tour of their warehouse. So let's go check it out. Well, just showed up to the warehouse. Time to go check this out. Alright, bro. Give us a lowdown on the boards that we got over here.
Man, so we have different types of boards, but the ones that I want to focus on today is basically our hybrids. So basically they're like the soft top with it's a pattern fingerprint like texture, so you don't need the actual wax. You could if you want to, but you wouldn't definitely need it. And then what I like about it is they have the epoxy bottom. So you have that that pro board feel that's on the bottom, but then you just have that forgivingness of having the soft top material.
Yeah.
Also too,
I love the texture.
Right? So it's honestly it's super easy, especially when days that I don't I'm super lazy and I don't I just want to get out there. I don't even stretch. I just hop on this and just go.
You don't have to wax it or anything.
Yeah, and it's so buoyant. There's so much volume on our boards. So you know what I mean? So it's especially on those days that are very mushy, our home breaks like balsa, cliffs and all that. It tends to get mushy sometimes, so perfect boards for it.
Yeah, it keeps you getting into those waves nice and easy.
Right? Yeah. So
get that wave count up, baby.
You have to, dude. And honestly, if the rail work on here, you can go from rail to rail. It's pretty easy. It's still pretty thick, but it's great to be able to practice your fundamentals on too. Mm-hmm. So.
Alright, and this was which board?
This is the 6-foot mahi. So this is our quad fin. So this is our fish. But we have the tail kind of pulled in a little more than traditional fish. So it's kind of he still has that fishy feeling. It's very loose. But it's not. I don't think in my personal preference, it's not too loose. But yeah, you can run it as a quad or you can run it as a twinny. So I usually run this as a twin. I like to ride all my boards twin plus one.
Okay.
But this is sick. And then
what else we working with?
Man, so we have the Travis Loki board, which is our 5'5" big bestie. So this one's a pretty sick little board. It's a nice little groveler too on smaller days. Mm-hmm. This one you can run pretty much just a 5-pin setup, so you can run it as a thruster, quad, twin, or 2+1, however you'd like it.
It seems to have a lot more rocker on this one.
Yeah, so the rocker on this one's pretty, especially at a small board like this one, groveling, you're gonna need that rocker a little bit.
Yeah.
To be a little more forgiving once you get into that wave. So this is our 6'8". So has that rounded nose, swallow tail, pulled in, low entry rocker, not too crazy. You have that flat deck, and again with the fingertip and the epoxy, you run this as a thruster. That's what I would run this as.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would run this as a thruster all the time, or a 2+1.
I love all the little logos.
Yeah, so this one's called our Casper, so we have that design for it, and then we have the Mahi, which is basically a Mahi design. And then we have the little Huevo. This dude is gangster, bro. This little Huevo guy is gangster. So
oh, dude, yeah. He is awesome. I love this little guy.
To me, it's I feel like they pulled inspiration from Cheech and Chong.
Bro, that's exactly what I was thinking of.
But, so, this is the board that'll literally catch everything, honestly. This is our 7.7.
Is that a kind of a hybrid?
Yeah. So this one's our diamond
mid-length type board.
Yeah. So this is definitely our mid. So my wife is a longboarder, and this is one of the soft tops that she actually likes. Is the 7.7.
Yeah,
I like
it's a cool board.
Right, because it has a wide chest area, so it's easier to paddle. Mm-hmm. And then you have the diamond tail, which is like, you know, it kind of pulls in at the tail part, and it just flies, honestly. Like, it's great paddling, and then it just, I mean, right when you take off, it just flies. This one,
I'm looking at like the rocker on it and the shape of the tail and the nose, I almost feel like this is a board I'd prefer over like an 8-foot board.
100%.
Something like this.
Yeah, I mean, like, don't get me wrong. Like, if you're still starting to learn, definitely, you know, like, go with something like a premium beginner board. Like, we have these premium beginner boards. It doesn't have the epoxy bottom, but it has like the laminate, reinforced laminate. So this one right here is our 8-foot vert. As you can tell, that rocker in the front has a lot more rocker.
And then it definitely does.
This one's equipped with our like 9-inch stealth fin.
Yeah, that's tight.
So, and for everyone that's like, that, you know, has a significant other and you have to carry their board, this is easier because it actually has the handle.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to call out my wife or anything, but let's just say, you know, if you're going down to like Old Man's Beach and you're going down that trail, you're gonna need that handle if you're carrying 2 boards.
No, I like this handle. Like, having the handle here is a nice move. Like, if you're a beginner surfer, especially, like, you're gonna get tired super quick. Or for girls, it's perfect because you know they're smaller, get tired quickly. Like, my sister uses this board and loves that, and the handle is huge for her because she has to walk, you know, sometimes almost a half mile or more to the break that she goes to a lot of the time.
That's
so
a long walk.
Yeah.
So, I'm left-handed, so it kind of sucks because I like to have like the nose in front.
Yeah.
So when I like hold it,
you go the other way.
Yeah, I go like, it sucks because I'm left-handed. So I go here. But bro, if you are right-handed, this is magic.
Yeah, you just gotta carry with your right hand, dude.
You know what I mean? So, like, it's like literally like the most easiest thing to carry.
Yeah, it's crazy how big of a difference that makes for like taking the weight off.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, it's cool. It's a cool little design. And we also have like the heat release valves because a lot of people like to leave this in the sun.
Yeah.
So like for the stringer, it has like the PVC pipe, and then you don't have to unscrew this or anything. It just automatically like releases heat, so the soft top doesn't delaminate.
Yes. All right. So when it comes to surfboards right now, with this, I've been saying this summer is gonna be soft top summer.
Soft top summer.
And he's gonna be a part of it. He's gonna be a major part of it.
We're gonna be cooking up that Kool-Aid for y'all. You know.
Exactly.
What I mean?
It's happening. So I want a board that is a longer board for small surf, and then I want something that's shorter and fun to get like pounded in the short break, where I don't have to worry about potentially like breaking one of my other boards.
I love that. Okay.
So what would you recommend for something like that?
It really depends too. Like, what is the normal size board that you actually ride?
So I ride a 5'8" Hypto Crypto and a
Sick.
5'11" Sharp Eye Inferno 72.
No way.
Yeah,
Okay.
I love that board.
Bro,
I love both of those boards.
I'm getting goosebumps right when you said Inferno, bro. Because I mean, you're talking about like Felipe Toledo type stuff. So, my personal opinion, since you're surfing those already, you're pretty comfortable with like 5'11s. It's probably like our 6.0. So here, let me put this down. And then like our 6.0 Mahi is like pretty much. There's two actually. There's the 6-foot Mahi that I really like. This one, I'm pretty sure you ride thrusters, so I mean, like,
I usually ride a thruster setup. Not the biggest fan of quad, but
yeah, that's the thing. It's like it's definitely gonna be a lot more loose than you actually surf.
Yeah.
But what I like about it is like it's wide, so it has plenty of volume. This volume is like, I believe is at 42 liters. So like,
can I hold this?
Yeah. I ride like a 6'4" Rocket Redux from Mayhem, but like, you know, it has the same liters pretty much as this one. So if every time I want to go shorter,
I do like this size board.
Right. So it's like, it used to be a 5'8", so we actually bumped it up to a 6'0". So and then like, especially like you're coming down to the point where it's like shore break.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you don't want to like damage any of your boards. This board is perfect because like that epoxy is gonna hold up. And then like you still have that soft top material on top, so you can basically beat up on this board and still be okay.
So, what would be a thruster option?
Oh, well, the thruster option is basically, if you're gonna ride that small, we also have the 5.5, but since, you know, like what I'm looking at is like longer board, longer rides, You know what I mean? So it's probably going to be the swallowtail, which is our Casper. So like this is a thruster option. I'm a 2+1 guy, like I said, but like this one has plenty of volume too. This one's about a 45 liter. 45. So plenty of like buoyancy. So like your paddle out over there, it's not that bad duck diving in it either. So
really?
I've duck dove in it a couple times.
I feel like. Sure.
You're good. That's what it's made for, man.
I know, right? That's a beautiful part of these boards. I feel like the size, like in the short break, I might not like the length in the short break, where something small is just easier to handle. So let's check out the 5.5.
I got you, bro. Say less. The 5.5 is nice. So the thing is, like, me personally, the shortest I've ever ridden is like a 5.8. So like this 5.5 is, I mean, this has tons of, this beefy.
Oh, so this is the 5-fin setup.
That's the 5-fin setup.
You can rock. Got a 5-fin setup right here.
So it's nice and wide on the chest area too, so for easier paddling as well.
And this is the one, this one has a little more rocker than the others?
Yeah, so this one has more rocker than both the Mahi and the Casper.
Yeah. So this, even the rocker situation, would also be good for short break just because of that rocker, those steep faces. Yeah. You can drop in, I have to worry about nose diving.
You don't have to worry about
That's like my biggest, that's the thing I hate the most. Because I drop into a short break and I nose dive it.
And you just like body slam onto it, bro. That's the worst. So yeah, like it's especially on short breaks too, man. So that rocker, I mean, it's not too crazy of an intense rocker, but it's like, it's a nice little low entry rocker.
Yeah, no, it's got a deep, little amount, which is nice.
You know what? Like I've seen some people that we filmed. They don't go they go finless on this, and they literally just do like a bunch of 360s.
All the like spins. I'm not that talented.
I'm not that guy either, dude. Like I can barely spin on my feet. So you know what I mean. So, but yeah, this would be probably like a better option. But you know what I mean, like. Yeah, bro. Like I would definitely try this, especially like, you know, it's the fin setup that's like important as well.
I love this fin setup because like you told me before, these take future fins. So I can use the fins that come with the board or my future fins that I have to surf on this.
The thing is too is like the fins that we have on this, they flex. So they're very forgiving, especially like, you know, again, like especially people that are like, you know, beginner to intermediate that's like, you know, trying to get down to a shorter board.
This is my thought with longer boards. So I used to be a longboarder, and then a couple years ago I started downsizing. I went to a 6.6, then I went to the 5.11 and 5.8. So now I got rid of the 6.6. All I have is the 5.8 and the 5.11. Now I'm gonna throw in that 5.5 soft top to have fun with in the short break. And then I miss having a longboard, but I want something that's not too big and too like just straight longboardy feeling, you know, like cruiser. Like I want something I can kind of move around that has a little bit of speed. Like what would you recommend from this collection of boards that might be a good fit for me?
Well, we do have a couple different options, but my favorite one's like the 7.7. It's our Elefante, which is this one right here. So like it has the longboard setup as well, so you can ride it as a single fin.
Okay.
Anytime that gets like, you know, really mushy 1-2 foot waves, long breaking, this will hold, especially with like single fin. So I mean, like I just got my wife the Kalina Moniz's 9-inch fin. So like that, I think fins like that, especially with a wider base, is gonna make you go a lot faster.
Okay.
You know, that especially like down the line. But then like when you have that longer fin, it kind of just like holds and you have that control.
Yeah.
And then, but this also is like, this is like more of a hybrid. So it's like you can ride this as like a thruster, or you know, like a thruster 2+1 or a quad twin. And then like, if you can see, like it's a super wide chest area, so you can have that like kind of like that longboard paddle feeling. So you as a shortboarder now, right? Like the thing that irritates us the most is like we're sitting on further in the inside, and you have this longboard. You don't know if he's gonna catch it or not because he's so far out there. This one will actually, since the buoyancy is so it's a pretty thick board, and it's a 7.7, so you can hang out there with like the longboards and catch those waves as well.
That's exactly something that I'd want. Something like this is a nice size of a board where it's like it's big, and like you said, you can go out with all the longboarders and go into some small, tiny surf still.
Yeah.
But it's not too big.
It's
where
not
you'd
too
be
big,
like,
yeah.
so much board to deal with.
Like you're like lugging it, right?
Yeah,
and
it's
like,
weird because like standing next to it, it feels giant. But then when I actually take it down and hold it like this, I'm like, oh, this isn't bad at all.
It's not bad. And like I like it because like a lot of people they focus on like the chair and how wide it is, but the thing is that it actually pulls in. It pulls in towards the tail. And then we have the diamond tail on the end part of that. And like I said, like I ride like Rocket Reduxes, so I'm a big fan of like the Rocket tails. So it kind of mimics that, which I'm super used to. So like like I've seen people whip it in this for sure.
Well, this might be the one. What other options are we looking at?
We have like, so we have one more like hybrid epoxy kind of thing, but we also have like our like premium beginner boards. So this one's like our Verve. This one's an 8-foot board.
Yeah,
Basically,
board.
This is what I recommend anyone like starting to surf literally be on, because it's not super thick like like those wave storms like you get from like Costco.
Yeah.
Like and where like because sometimes it just feels so unstable sometimes.
Well, I feel like the wave storms they're almost too flimsy. Like
they're
not very solid, and these boards are just super that's a solid.
It's a solid
board. Yeah. And so my sister actually got this exact board right here. And I rode it, and it was super fun. It was in a tiny little break in NorCal, and I was out with all the longboarders, just catching everything. And this is what 8 foot, 9 foot.
Yeah, it's
and
8
this I rode at 8 foot, and this board is super fun, great beginner board. So I definitely recommend this for a beginner surfer that wants to get a longboard and start surfing.
We have this 8-4, which is this one right here. This is called a magic carpet, which is basically like same thing. It has you can do both for futures and FCS long fins on there, but we do have future setups for the side bites. And this one right here, man, is like you feel like Aladdin. You feel like Aladdin, bro. You just like this is the board that I would literally take like my daughter on her first surf. Like she will be just up in front. I'm gonna take her on a magic carpet ride, and hopefully I don't drown her. You know what I mean? So it's like, but like
that's so true. That's perfect for that.
So this is a perfect like.
Dude, I love the shape of this one too. That board looks super fun. It's like
it's a swallowtail too. It's pulled in swallowtail, so it still has that dynamic feeling, like especially when you're trying to turn. Yeah. You don't have to do a crazy knee turn on it, like because it's long, so but it's forgiving. I like it. We have like our 9-footers. We also have like a 9.6, which is crazy intense. I've never surfed that one, but these are our 9-footers. But like that's just straight up like longboard.
Yeah,
stuff,
it's a big old longboard.
Yeah.
And like for that, I feel like the 8 foot and the 8.4 you said, right?
Yeah.
I think those are perfect sizes for beginners, where it's like it's a big board, but it's not too much board. Where like once you get above that, like you gotta know how to handle a lot of board. I feel like.
Yeah, and the thing is too, like I would just want to say, like, don't be a rush to to learn and progress, right? Because like don't make the same mistakes basically I made.
Yeah.
Like I should have learned how to like turn on a longboard, because then my turning on a shortboard would be so much more natural. So like especially catching waves, catching greens, like take your time, like and like.
And don't be afraid of a slow progression down. Like start with the longer board and then work your way down. Go 8 foot, 9 foot board, 7-6 type board, and then down to a 6-8, 6 foot, 5-5. Like take it slow. Because I went from a 9.6 to don't do what I did. It worked for me, but I wouldn't recommend it, to a 6.6. But I got a lot of volume. It was a bigger board, and I struggled for a little bit, and I was like, oh, I might have just wasted so much money on this. And then I caught on to it luckily, and then all of a sudden, just like that, I was at a 5.11 and a 5.8. And like it ended up being a way quicker, progression down than I thought it was going to be. But picking the right size boards for your skill set, like that was one thing too. I went to the shapers and I told them like, yo, this is my skill set. This is where I'm at. I'd rather play it a little safer than not, and what do you recommend? And I talked to the local shapers to make sure I was making the wisest decision possible, and it ended up working out. But play it safe, slow progression from a longboard to a shortboard, and you'll be glad that you did. Being forgiving to yourself is like, that's this story of surfing. Like, surfing is so frustrating.
Yeah.
And it's like,
bro,
it's one of those things where you have to humble yourself and be okay with just eating it over and over again and finally getting it right. Or sometimes you'll paddle out, you might not catch a wave the entire time you're out there, but like, you can't get discouraged. Like, you just have to keep working at it, and the more you're able to surf, the quicker that progression is gonna go. But
you know what it's funny because like the way that I look at, like, you know, when you're starting to surf, you're starting your beginning journey. Like, you know, by the way, it's a lifelong journey, so why be in a rush, right? The thing is that, like, when you nosedive and like you eat it, I look at it as like when you drive in the car and like you're just emotional and you cry, right? You think that everyone's looking at you, right? Am I right though?
Yeah.
So like you're crying, you think like everyone's like looking at you, you're just like, oh good, that guy saw me coming the other way. But in all honesty, it's just like, you know, like, when you eat it, like surfing, it's like, oh, that guy eat it, and then no one really cares.
No one cares.
Yeah, so it's like everyone knows how that feels.
yeah. All right, now it's time for me to grab the boards that I'm able to go take and go have some fun on this summer, baby.
I got you.
South Bay Board Co. sponsoring the Soft Top Summer.
Let's do it. Kool-Aid, drink the Kool-Aid.
You have to.
You have to.
Shout out to the people at South Bay Board Co. for the boards. Can't wait to test all these out. It's gonna be so much fun this summer. Soft Top Summer. Stay tuned.